Hi everyone, it's Mary here from Margery Woolcraft again, and today we're going to do a little bit of dyeing with Woad. We're going to use the hydrosulfite method, which is just a quick method to extract the indigo. So the first thing we have to do is pick the Woad, and just a few words about that. My Woad didn't do very well this year. I think it didn't like the dry June and then the cold July and August, and but we had some fine weather beginning of September this month, and it took a bit of a growth spurt, so I'm getting a second harvest from it. Now Woad, the best indigo you get from Woad is the first year's growth. Once it goes to seed or flowers, it loses some of the indigo, or if it gets frosted as well. So here we are in September, and we've been lucky, no frost yet. There's quite a strong smell of it, which obviously you can't appreciate. Not an unpleasant smell. Woad is fairly easy to grow, and I think probably it likes a little bit more sort of fertilizer, manure and stuff than I gave it as well. Kind of a bit neglected, like Dyer's garden. To strip and chop up the leaves a bit into a saucepan. So don't really need that central stem either, and take all the poor critters out. Okay, so now the rainwater I have in here has come to the boil, and my Woad is down there, low down. So I'm just going to take this off the gas and pour it in on top of the Woad leaves. Lots of steam. Right, done. Just leave that there now, and I'll give it a push down. Go and get my spoon. And then here I have what I'm going to use to dye, the fibres I'm going to use to dye. So there's a little bit of hand spun wool there, and there's a little bit of silk and camel commercial yarn here that I'm going to use to warp my rigid heddle loom to make a scarf. So that's what I'll do first, and then if I think there's enough indigo left, I'll use that. But they need to be well soaked. You have to put those on even the night before. You could leave your fibres to soak so that they really are soaked through before you dye them. Okay, so this is going to stay on for an hour, so I will see you then. I'm going to strain the leaves out of the tin. Yeah, good squeeze out. now, guess why I've got my rubber gloves on, because they're quite hot still. Squeeze all the water out. Now, you will probably, if you read up about this, they say you can dye with that to get a beige colour with those leaves. I have never had any luck with that at all, so I just put mine on the compost heap. And they're not that strong a colour, but it is beige, right? So the next stage is we add something called soda ash, which is, again, that's nothing very toxic about soda ash, I don't think. So, spoons in there, yeah. So I'm just going to I'm going to use this because there's not very much in this, so I don't think it's going to be too much. I'm going to sprinkle it over it into the container, into this, and then you put a little bit in, and then just look to see what colour we're getting. See now, you see it's just beginning to go a little bit on the greener side. Probably just see that. I'm going to just put a little bit more, I think. The idea is to get the water to go green. Want the water too hot at this stage? I can keep my hand quite comfortably on the side of there. So it's about the right temperature. I think that's green enough. Let's take a chance. Now, let's hope there's some indigo in this. So the next thing is to aerate it. Now you can either pour it from one container into another backwards and forwards, but I just use the ordinary old handheld whisk. Now I do this for about 10 minutes. Just about 10 minutes. And we hope we're going to see some indigo. So we finished whisking. I hope we whisked enough. It's quite, where's my spoon? Sorry. That's my spoon, so let's have a look. You can see it's really quite greeny blue. So I'm hoping that's lots of indigo there. And I'm going to put the saucepan back onto the heat. And I'm then going to, just a little, very low heat, no, nothing very serious. Just to kind of, well, I say move the molecules around in the water, which sounds a bit, that's just my theory of doing this, okay. So I have that to put the, this is the powder I use to take the oxygen out of the water. And you can buy that online. It needs to be kept pretty fresh. You need to use fresh and make sure that you seal it really well when you've used it, because it doesn't keep. So for this, I've got my gloves back on again, so I'm all hands and thumbs. And I'm also going to put a mask on, and Nora's going to stand well back, really. Not too close, so that just in case there's any dust in the air for this stuff. It's not very nice. So I use a spoon that I only use for dyes. This teaspoon doesn't get used for anything else. And I sprinkle it just carefully over the surface. Try not to disturb the water too much at this stage. I'm going to try 3 spoons. A little bit hit and miss this. Let's see how that goes. Now it takes about 30 minutes, and the idea is that you will get, just see what's happening here. The water will start to clear. So leave that there for a few minutes, carefully. Take the saucepan outside, and you'll see why later. The whole thing is not to disturb the water, particularly the surface now. Got to be quite careful. Yarn that I have had soaking. I'm only going to put this one in to start off with, because I want to get a strong blue off this one. So squeeze all the water out of it, as much as you can. And now I'm going to just lower it really carefully. Before I lower it in, I'll just show you the water. It's a little bit there. You see it's gone almost clear now. Won't go completely clear because we have the yellow in it. And then just lower it down. I might have to squish it down. Very carefully. Lower it down. Try not to get too many of the bubbles. And we're going to leave it down there for 30 minutes. And the spun cheviot fleece. And see how careful I'm being. Right, now we'll leave that for 30 minutes. I'm going to put a lid on it. Not normally, I wouldn't normally do this, but the weather isn't 100%. And if it rains, the drips of rain will oxygenate the water. So we'll put that on. Okay, 30 minutes and then we see what happens. Fingers crossed. Okay, so here we are at the last stage and I'm just going to take the wool out. First going to take this silk and camel yarn out and say a prayer. Something's going to happen. No, we might have wasted our time. Right, now we need to take the blue out. Let's take this one out. I'm being careful trying not to drip any more water back into the pan. And there we go, that's more obvious on this, isn't it? And there you are, that's your indigo now oxygenating in the air. That's more obvious. I'm glad I did the wool. I just tease it just to let it get exposed. Quickly, this is beginning to turn blue now. A little bit slower. Interestingly enough, it won't get quite the same colour obviously because yeah, so that's quite, oh, that's a nice, look at that now. Can't complain about that. If you wanted to get more, a darker blue, they say to re-dip, but I find the best thing to do is to keep the yarn until the next woad dyeing that you're doing and use it first. Put the paler ones in that you might want to get more colour in, put them in first, and then you get a really dark blue with them. So that's about it really. The end of the thing is later on today I'll rinse these in ordinary water and hang them out to dry. But just let them oxygenate here. This is a bee. It is coming, but it's not going to be. There you are. That's not too bad there. It come. So anyway, thank you very much everybody who's watched, and I hope I've been giving you enough information. The two chemicals you need are the soda ash to start off with, and then something the hydrosulfate to take the oxygen out. Or there are other products, and if you go online you can buy them from any of the shops that do natural dyes. They will have them under the indigo section. But basically, to dye with indigo, you have to get your indigo back to that clear state to get it to attach to the fibres. So there we are. I hope I've explained it well enough for you, and until the next time.